What if I told you that right now, hidden in laboratories and secret bases around the world, there are military projects so advanced they sound like pure science fiction, yet they are absolutely real? Imagine flying aircraft carriers, drone swarms guided entirely by artificial intelligence, submarines that can unleash radioactive tsunamis, and soldiers enhanced with technology that makes them stronger, faster, and more resilient than ever before. These are not movie scripts or futuristic novels. They are the most ambitious military projects of the 21st century, designed to dominate the skies, seas, and even space itself. And the more you learn about them, the more you'll wonder if humanity is stepping into a future it can't fully control. Let's start above the Earth, in low orbit, where DARPA's Project Blackjack is quietly transforming the way the US military sees and communicates. Traditional satellites are massive, expensive, and vulnerable. Take one down and you blind an entire defense network. Blackjack flips the script by creating constellations of smaller satellites, fast, cheaper to launch, and harder to destroy. Imagine a private Pentagon-built version of Starlink, but optimized for war. It would allow real-time tracking of enemy forces, instant detection of missile launches, and a global communication system no rival could easily disrupt. Space is no longer the final frontier, it's the newest battlefield, and whoever controls it will control far more than the skies. But while the US looks to the stars, Russia is turning to the oceans with one of the most apocalyptic weapons ever conceived, Poseidon. This isn't a typical torpedo. It's a nuclear-powered, nuclear-armed underwater drone capable of traveling across entire oceans undetected. Poseidon's mission is terrifyingly simple. Reach a coastline and detonate, creating a radioactive tsunami powerful enough to wipe out cities and render entire regions uninhabitable for decades. Too deep and too fast for current sonar systems to intercept, Poseidon is the ultimate doomsday device. It's the kind of weapon that proves military ambition isn't just about power, it's about intimidation on a global scale. On the opposite end of the spectrum is Project Maven, the US military's leap into artificial intelligence. Modern wars generate mountains of surveillance footage and data that no team of humans could ever process in real time. Maven steps in with machine learning, giving drones and sensors the ability to recognize patterns, spot enemy combatants, and even recommend strikes instantly. In practice, this could mean drones that act almost like hunters, identifying, tracking, and prioritizing targets without waiting for human input. Some believe it will make warfare faster and smarter. Others worry it's the first step toward machines making life or death decisions with little to no oversight. Either way, Project Maven is blurring the line between human judgment and artificial dominance. China, meanwhile, is flexing its muscle in the skies with the Chengdu J-20 Mighty Dragon. Built to rival America's F-22, this stealth jet features radar-absorbing materials, internal weapons bays, and the ability to supercruise at high speeds. It's already patrolling the Eastern Theater, and it's only the beginning. China is rumored to be developing 6th-generation fighters with AI co-pilots, drone wingmen, and even energy-based weapons like lasers. For decades, the US led the way in stealth technology. Now China is catching up fast, and the race for air dominance is heating up in ways that could reshape global power. But not every ambitious project is about machines. Some target the soldiers themselves. Across the US, China, and even France, billions are being invested in human enhancement. Exoskeleton suits like Lockheed Martin's Onyx give troops superhuman endurance, carrying heavy loads for miles without fatigue. Augmented reality visors overlay live battlefield data directly into a soldier's vision, turning them into walking command centers. And DARPA's brain-computer interfaces aim to connect thought directly to machines. Imagine controlling a drone or even a squad of robots with nothing more than your mind. There's research into pain suppression, faster healing, and memory augmentation. Step by step, the line between soldier and machine is beginning to blur, raising the unsettling question: are we creating super soldiers or losing what makes us human? At sea, the US Navy's Zumwalt-class destroyer is rewriting what a warship can be. With its angular hull designed to vanish from radar, electric propulsion, and a fully digital command system, Zumwalt looks like it sailed straight out of a sci-fi movie. Originally built to carry futuristic railguns and laser weapons, its very existence proves just how far navies are willing to go in order to secure the oceans of tomorrow. Though expensive and controversial, the Zumwalt represents a bold step toward fleets that combine stealth, automation, and raw firepower on a scale the world has never seen before. And then there's the next leap in aviation. Sixth-generation fighters like the US's Next Generation Air Dominance Program, or NGAD, and the UK's Tempest. These aircraft won't just be planes, they'll be airborne networks. Modular systems will let militaries swap engines, stealth coatings, or weapons on the fly. They'll fly alongside AI-controlled wingmen, unleash hypersonic missiles, and even conduct cyber attacks mid-air. Imagine a single jet operating as a strike force, a spy platform, and a digital hacker all at once. If fifth-generation fighters like the F-35 were revolutionary, sixth-gen fighters will redefine what it means to rule the skies. But what do all these projects have in common? They're not just about defense, they're about dominance, about sending a message to the world that we can outthink, outbuild, and outfight you. And while some of these technologies might prevent wars through deterrence, others are so destructive they raise serious questions. What happens when AI drones make the wrong call? What happens if a Poseidon torpedo malfunctions? What happens when soldiers enhanced with technology can no longer separate their humanity from their programming? Ambition pushes us forward, but it also brings us closer to the edge. The truth is that the most ambitious military projects aren't just shaping tomorrow's wars, they're shaping the world we will all live in. Faster, smarter, more automated, and more dangerous than anything before. Weapons that think for themselves, satellites that turn space into a battlefield, submarines that can trigger apocalyptic tsunamis, soldiers who may be part machine. This isn't the distant future. It's happening now, and the consequences are unfolding in real time. And that's why conversations like this matter. These projects may inspire awe, but they also demand awareness. Because once they exist, they cannot be uninvented. The only question is how humanity chooses to use them. Will they become tools of protection or symbols of destruction? That answer is still being written. Throughout history, great leaps in military innovation have always rewritten the rules of power. Gunpowder shattered the age of swords and castles. The machine gun redefined infantry combat. The nuclear bomb froze the world in a tense stalemate for decades. Today, the technologies we've explored, AI drones, nuclear torpedoes, orbital satellites, super soldiers, may represent the next seismic shift. And like those earlier revolutions, the decisions made now will ripple far beyond the battlefield, shaping economies, politics, and the very definition of security. One fascinating aspect of these projects is how they blur the line between war and peace. A constellation of satellites might provide internet to rural communities one moment and guide missiles the next. An exoskeleton suit might help soldiers carry heavy gear in combat, but also assist workers in warehouses or hospitals. The very same tools designed for war often find their way into civilian life, for better or worse. The ambition behind them may be military, but their influence is global. Another question rarely asked is what happens when these technologies spread. Right now, they're concentrated in superpowers like the US, China, and Russia. But history tells us military innovations don't stay locked away for long. Stealth, drones, even cyber weapons, all were once tightly held secrets that eventually spread. If nuclear drones or AI-driven fighters become widely available, the global balance of power could shatter, creating instability the likes of which we've never seen. Equally concerning is the role of private corporations. Many of the breakthroughs in AI, robotics, and space technology aren't happening in government labs but in tech giants and startups. This creates a strange dynamic. Corporations building tools that militaries adopt, often faster than regulations can keep up. What happens when the profit motive collides with global security? When the company designing an AI surveillance system decides to sell it to the highest bidder? The ambitions of business may fuel the ambitions of war. And then there's the human element, or the loss of it. For centuries, war has been defined by the courage, fear, and sacrifice of soldiers. But as machines take over more roles, what happens to the identity of the warrior? Are we heading toward a future where soldiers no longer bleed, but simply operate joysticks or oversee algorithms? Some argue this could make war less personal, less tragic. Others warn it could make war easier to start, because leaders won't fear the same human cost. It's also worth imagining how these projects might interact with one another. A hypersonic drone swarm guided by Project Maven's AI, launched from a sixth-generation fighter, supported by orbital satellites from Project Blackjack. That's not just a single breakthrough. That's a fully integrated system of dominance. Each technology is powerful on its own. Combined, they could create a war machine unlike anything the world has ever faced. At the same time, the scale of ambition raises another sobering thought: control. The more complex these systems become, the harder they are to fully manage. A malfunction in a satellite network could blind entire armies. A glitch in AI recognition could mistake civilians for threats. Ambition brings power, but it also brings fragility. And in warfare, fragility can be catastrophic. Perhaps the greatest irony is that while these projects are designed to keep nations safe, they may also make the world more dangerous. Deterrence works only if every side believes the other will act rationally. But history has shown us how quickly fear, miscommunication, or pride can push humanity toward disaster. Ambition gives us tools beyond imagination, but wisdom is what decides how they're used, and wisdom is far harder to engineer. If you found this deep dive into the most ambitious military projects of the 21st century as fascinating as we did, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Give this video a like and share your thoughts in the comments below. Which of these projects excites you the most, and which one terrifies you? The future of warfare is already here, and the more we understand it, the better prepared we'll be.